the one, the only, Ben Sion. Okay, good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube, just Daf It. We have a new Daf today, as always. Daf Mem Aleph, Nazir, number 41. Special week this week, Purim this week. If you didn't see my costume last night, check out my videos from last night where I gave you a sneak preview of my costume for Purim. It's going to be a lot of fun. Purim with Ben Zilang is unlike any other Purim you will ever experience. Of course, you have to see it in person, but I'll give you a little glimpse through some videos. Let's start from Mem Aleph about 5 lines down. The word Rebbe Lezer, the second last word of the line. Yesterday we discussed, according to the Rabbanan, how do they know that by a Metzorah, when you shave the person's body after the purification process, it's exclusively done with a razor as opposed to any other form of removing hair. Relezer, my time. There's a Mishnah, so Relezer has to agree with it. How does he know? We said Relezer couldn't learn it from Zikno, where the Rabbanan learned it from, because Relezer holds when it comes to shaving your beard, you could actually violate that prohibition, not just with a razor, you could violate it even, I said, with a lift and cut in my explanation, either Ben Zion or some type of plain, some type of tweezers, according to other explanations. My timer, where does he know that a Metzorah, you shave his hair with exclusively a razor? Taima, Yalef mi Rosho. We learned from the pasuk Rosho. This is the word Rosho by a Metzorah. Even a Metzorah, you shave his entire body. Zikna was extra. So also the word Rosho, his head is extra. The Sanya, the Bryce says Rosho. Matam Lomar. Why do you say Rosho? Vishan Emor Gabi Nazir. It says by Nazir, Tarli Avril Rosho. It says the word Rosho by Nazir. It says you shouldn't shave his head with a razor. Yachalaf Nazir Metzorah. And you might think the same thing if he's a Nazir. And he's a Metzorah, right? He's a Metzorah. He happens to be Nazir also, right? He has Saras. And he's a Nazir. At the end of his purification process, he has to shave his entire body, even though he's violating the Isser of Tar Li'Avril Rosho. Talmud Loma Rosho. Everyone says Rosho to teach me. Even in that case, he would proceed with shaving his head with a razor. That's the pasuk says tar, right, with a razor. And that's why he's a Metzorah. That's why we know that by Metzorah he shaves with a razor. Otherwise, he wouldn't violate Tar Li'Avril Rosho when it comes to a Nazir. So therefore, from that pasuk, you see the extra word Rosho tells me that he does. Where's me my? What's the proof? Maybe technically you would violate. You could shave your body and your head, a Metzorah, with Malakit written with tweezers. Mitzvah kav. He does a mitzvah. Why does it say the word tar? The Chiddush, why it says Rosho, right? And Rosho, we connected tar lo yavril Rosho, is to tell me that if you do with a razor, it would be okay. A Nazir who uses a razor, right, he violates the prohibition of his Nazirus. So when you're Metzorah and when you're a Tzaras, you have Tzaras and you purify yourself, and you're also a Nazir, you should also be Mechayiv. You're not allowed to do it. Kamash Malan Delo, it's not a problem. But technically, if you want, you could do it with a Malakat Rehitnik. You don't exclusively have to do it with a razor. You tell me that you'll also get a mitzvah by doing it with tweezers. With the low cost of tar, right? It doesn't say tar. Reish Lakish, like the Gemara said yesterday, it can't be that possibility because Reish Lakish says, whenever you have a possibility of avoiding doing an isser, avoiding esidochalosa, right? We say, right, do malakat v'hitnik, don't violate with tar, don't use a razor and violate the prohibition. Use malakat v'hitnik, use the tweezers, and don't violate the prohibition. If you can do a mitzvah of purification of tzaras with tweezers, don't use the razor. So it must be that you have to use the razor, and therefore it's a proof for Rebbe Lezer. Rabbanan, hi Rosha Ma'idar. According to Rabbanan, what did they use the word Rosha? They already used Zikno to teach me that Metzorah, his purification process, he shaves with exclusively a razor. What do they do with the extra word Rosho? That's to tell me that a Metzorah, when he shave his head, he violates the Isser of Lo Sakifu Pas Roshchem. We'll talk about Iyo Ben Sion, exactly what Lo Sakifu Pas Roshchem is. I have a new explanation you're going to love, or some people are going to love. It's a very provocative take on what lo sakifa bas roshka literally means don't make circles on the sides of your head, right? Sakifa hakafa is a circle. So what do they do? Right? When you're a Mitzorah, you're shaving all your head, right? So you're violating hakafas harosh, right? Desanya lo sakiv bas roshcha. You might think, right? Don't round off the corner of your head. According to most explanations, it means basically making an undercut, right? An undercut is where you keep the top and you cut off the side. So lo sakifu is you're making a circle around your head that you're not allowed to do. You think about Mitzorah, right? You also can't do that. And included in that is shaving your entire head. Shaving your entire head, you also shave this part. So that would be included. You think Mitzorah also can't violate this prohibition. Rosho. Therefore, Rosho teaches me he violates it. So the Gemara persists. Why do you have to say the word Rosho? I should learn from Zikno. The sign is Zikno. It says Zikno by Mitzorah. Why does it say Zikno? Right? It says you're not allowed to shave your beard. Right, with a razor, Yachal Mitzorah cane. You might think of Mitzorah can't do it. Also, Talmud Lomar Zikno, he can do it. Right, there's no prohibition over there. Lam the of Rosho, V'lam the of Zikno. Right, so I should be able to learn it from the fact that we say Esay Dochalose over there, the mitzvah of Giluach, of shaving your head, your beard as Saras, Zocha, the violation of shaving your beard. So similarly, also by your head. So Lam the of Rosho, Lam the of Zikno. Why do you need both psukim? Srichi. You need both. Because of Rahman Zikno, because of Rosh. You said of your beard and not your head. How I mean, Hakafas called Rosh Loshma Hakafa. Right? I wouldn't have said, right, that, right, I wouldn't have learned Esei Do Chalose from over here. I would have said, right, it's Machlokes, right? Is the Isra of Los Akiv Bas Roshkam just making a circle, an undercut, but basically keeping the hair over here is not a, but shaving your entire head, is also part of the prohibition, or maybe no. The only prohibition is making an undercut, but shaving your entire head, going bald, is not a problem at all. Hakafa is called a rosh loshma hakafa. That's not a violation of hakafa. So therefore, right, there's no need to say lahakikasa of rosho. That's why the Torah says rosho to tell me no. The Rabbanan really hold it really would be a violation. Hakafa is shaving your entire head is a violation, which you do by a mitzorah. You have to shave the entire head. Nonetheless, there's Rosha to tell me that the essay Dochalosa say, the essay of shaving your head at the end of the Saras process is Docha Hakavas Kala Rosh. Right? On top of Mem Aleph and Beis, because of Rosho, if we said Rosho, because of Zikna, I mean Mashma Tarti. I would have said, right, you learn two things. Dasi essay Vidachia Slow. To say Mashma Hakavas Kala Rosh, Hakafa. We learn like we just said before. That Hakafa is called a Rosh, shaving your entire head, which you do by Yitzhara at the end of the purification process of Mitzorah, is a violation. Nonetheless, Rosha tells me you violated it, and therefore we learn also, as I say, however, Akati with Tarminala, but I still want to have known that a Mitzorah, Dafka, he has to cut his entire head with a razor, right? Shaved off with a razor. Laki Kasav Rahman, Zikno. That's why it says Zikno, tell me that. Relezer, Asi, Esi, Vidaka, Minali. So we said, according to Relezer, right, he can't learn Zikno. Zikno he had a problem learning with. He had to learn that a Mitzorah shaves his head exclusively with a razor. We learned it from Rosho. So he doesn't have Rosho available to tell me Esei Dochalose. Where does he learn? Esei Dochalose Minale. Yalif me Gedilim. He learns it out from the Gedilim when it talks about it in Parshas Kiseitze, right? Gedilim, the sound of Losilva Shatnez. The pasuk starts off, you shouldn't wear Shatnez, which is Semer or Pishtim Yachtav. Ha Gedilim Taslacham, and the pasuk continues. The next pasuk says, Nonetheless, when you make tzitzis, right, you could have a mixture of wool and linen, right? You could have a beged made out of wool, and you could have the tzitzis made out of linen, or vice versa. And that's not a problem. The mitzvah of tzitzis is docha, the losa say of shatnez. That's where he knows that's docha losa, which is really the makor, the source the Gemara gives in Yevamos. The Gemara concludes that really is a source in Maseches Yevamos for etsei docha losa. But according to the Rabbanan, they don't need to learn it from Gedilim Tazal. They have another source, and that's from a mitzorah, right, that you violate Lo Sakiv Bas Roshkam. Nonetheless, the mitzvah of shaving your head at the end of Saras is docha, the mitzvah of Lo Sakiv, the Isra of Lo Sakiv Bas Roshkam. That's the conclusion of today's share. Under 10 minutes, pretty good. Stay tuned for Iyad Ben Sion, a really important Iyad Ben Sion, when we talk about what Lo Sakiv Bas Roshkam is and answer a fundamental question. Rebbezer, the S.A.S.C. Devach Lo say, couldn't he learn it from before? When we said that a person who's a Nazir and a Metzora, right? You shave his head and you violate the prohibition of Tar Lo Yovel Al Rosho. Shaving a Nazir's head is a violation of Allah, say, and we still say that a Metzora who's a Nazir does it. So Esay Dochel from there. Why does he have to learn from here? To answer that, Tosas asked this question. It's a fundamental question. To answer that question and gain a new perspective on Los Zakiv Bas Roshkam, you're not going to believe, and really gain a new perspective on mitzvah of Nazir. This is getting the most fundamental shir you'll ever hear, and it will help you understand the entire Masechta of Nazir, what the word Nazir really comes from. Ian with Ben Sion coming up next.